to the ball for a while right here. And they are. They're going to four corners. They're going to try to spread Georgetown out and hold the ball for the rest of the half. A great move by Raleigh Massimino.
And what you are watching again is a relic. Almost everyone agrees that they'll go to the 45-second shot clock next year in this tournament.
This is the 1985 National Championship game between the 1-seeded Georgetown Hoyas and the 8-seeded Villanova Wildcats. Villanova's upset performance is widely referred to as the perfect game because of how they played against a Georgetown team that was an overwhelming favorite. But as you can see, the game was a bit unorthodox relative to today's standards. Like at the end of the first half, when the Wildcats held the ball for 1 minute and 50 seconds straight. So what's going on here? Why would anyone call this type of play the perfect game? Well, let's find out. This video is sponsored by Hudl. The time of possession dashboard you'll see more of later was created using Hudl Sports Code.
They have rolled out all these superlatives about this Georgetown team. They come into the tournament with 30 victories. They could be, by the time this is all finished, accorded the honor of being the greatest team ever because they're playing that well.
Georgetown entered the 1985 season as defending national champions, with Patrick Ewing the best player in the country in his fourth and final season with the Hoyas. Thanks to Ewing's rim protection, Georgetown was especially dominant on the defensive end of the floor. You might remember back during Ewing's freshman season in 1982, head coach John Thompson famously told him to block anything that came to the basket during the beginning of the national title game, to basically not even worry about goaltending. As a result, North Carolina's first 4 baskets of the game were all off of Ewing goaltends. In the '85 title game, Villanova went right at Ewing around the basket. Their first make of the game was a tough finish right around Ewing. Georgetown opened in a 1-3-1 zone defense with Ewing roaming the paint, but Villanova was able to attack the seams of the zone early on. When the Hoyas switched to man-to-man defense, they wanted to keep Ewing in the paint around the basket, but his matchup Ed Pinckney made him pay by hitting a jumper against the sagging defense, forcing Georgetown to adjust. In the first half, Ewing, the normally dominant shot blocker, seemed to always be just a second too late on the Villanova drives, missing block shots by a matter of inches. So let's go back to why this performance is known as the perfect game. For starters, Georgetown took 25 more field goal attempts than Villanova. Georgetown had 53 shots, Nova just 28. To put that into perspective, there were about 6,000 D1 basketball games last season. Only 16 of them had one team take 25 more field goal attempts than their opponent. Of those 16 games, the team that took more shots, like Georgetown did, went 12-4. But in 1985, Georgetown lost despite getting so many more shots because of this. Villanova shot 79% from the floor, missing only 6 shots all game long and just 1 shot in the whole second half. In a documentary on the game afterwards, Ed Pinckney said it best.
We didn't miss. We couldn't miss.
Whether it was double clutch jumpers or contested floaters, everything fell for the Wildcats. These are charts showing Villanova's time of possession during the first half. Overall, they held the ball 55% of the time. Remember that clip we saw at the beginning of Villanova dribbling the clock out at the end of the first half? That possession actually wasn't very representative of the game as a whole. For most of the game, the Georgetown defense was aggressive, full court pressing in the backcourt, and then pressuring the ball or even double teaming in the front court. That pressure did at times speed up Villanova and cause some turnovers, which is why it was such a surprise when John Thompson let the Wildcats dribble the ball out at the end of the first half. They had been aggressive on defense and attacked the ball handler leading up to that point. In the second half, Villanova's time of possession went up to 57%, with 7 possessions lasting over 30 seconds. That means about a quarter of their possessions would have been shot clock violations in today's game. But it's not like Villanova went to a four corners offense and looked to excessively stall during the half. They just patiently ran their offense and didn't force the issue by taking quick shots. They'd back the ball out after beating the press or beating a double team instead of taking a rush shot. It was pretty demoralizing for Georgetown to run around on defense for 30 seconds trying to force a turnover and apply pressure, only to have Nova knock down nearly every jumper they took all night long. The last one of those 30-plus second possessions came with just 3 minutes left. Georgetown went back to their 1-3-1 zone with Ewing in the middle, and Villanova patiently swung the ball against the zone, with Harold Jensen ultimately giving Villanova the 1-point lead with a jump shot. Jensen was a perfect 5 for 5 from the field during the game. After Georgetown turned the ball over on the next possession, Villanova extended the lead and never looked back, completing the perfect game by sinking clutch free throws and earning themselves their first national championship in program history at that time.
That's it. Villanova has done it.
A big thank you to Huddle for sponsoring this video. The analysis you saw during it was created using Huddle Sports Code. I coded every possession from the championship game and then used the scripting feature to create the time of possession dashboard. And with Sports Code, every statistic is linked back to video. So for example, if I click on this number 8, I can then watch all 8 of Villanova's possessions in the second half that lasted under 10 seconds. If you're a coach looking to improve your video and scouting workflows, Huddle is your complete solution for professional grade video analysis tools. Be sure to visit huddle.com/hoopvision or click the link in the description to see how their tools can help your team on the court. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
I said, do you know what I want more than going to the Final Four? I want a big dish of pasta with clam sauce.
And we're looking at each other in the locker room like, what is he talking about?